starting.
Uh,
Hey, I think it started.
Does
Is
it
this thing
start?
on?
That's a great
Hello.
intro. I think it started. Hi everybody.
Live from New
Oh.
York.
My God, it's like geeks in space.
Geeks in space.
I was waiting for somebody to do that.
Slashdot. Is that still around?
Slashdot or Geeks in Space?
Either one.
Yeah,
it's
Slashdot's still a thing.
Slashdot's still there. Commander Taco's still alive.
Is he really?
I
Oh,
dated a guy once that actually worked for Slashdot.
Commander Kako?
No.
Oh, who? Amanda, you just can't open up these doors to juicy gossip and then
Dude, I don't remember his name.
slam them shut.
You expect me to keep track of these people?
This is
I have a
good.
list somewhere. Like I could go find his name.
It was like Editor David.
I drove
Oh, I think his name might have been Dave.
Oh, geez.
one of my colleagues
remember.
to a conference this week, and she's from India, and she had an arranged marriage, and she didn't understand American dating. So she's like, how
me
many
neither.
people have you dated? And I said, before Blair, probably about 37. And she was just blown away. So we had a very long conversation. It was definitely culture shock. But
Yeah, I bet.
apparently now she thinks I'm a male whore. But
I mean, you are.
Well,
it's
not in dispute.
Gotta have a hobby, right? So how come you
That's what I
all?
do with all my spare time.
What come you are B-sides NOLA or B-sides Kansas City?
Me?
Yeah.
Because I'm saving money, yo.
Josh Prunty's
I don't
out
know when.
at K-sides Kansas City. I saw that Chris Nickerson was.
And then Carolina Con's going on too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to save money. I wasn't planning on going to many conferences other than like Derby and GurCon and DuffCon, but I wasn't gonna really go to anything else this year. And then like I got roped into a whole bunch of other shit. So I'm going to 3 of them in June.
Well, you have a book to promote.
That doesn't
Yeah.
People are promoting it for me online. I don't need to go to in person.
Well, how are you supposed to have it signed?
True.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use your book for my network defense class. So move over Jason Street.
I have like 5 people now that are professors that want to create content around it. So I could give you their emails.
That'd be great. Except mine will be better, and I don't want to share it with them.
Because I was talking to somebody about how you actually get into that market, right? Because it seems fairly easy to get into, like, my Twitter followers obviously or know about it because that's all I tweet about now. But then, like, how do I get into more professional, like the people that I feel need it?
I have the same issue with building an information security awareness program, and that's really up to your publisher. And
they already do a pretty good job of marketing. I feel like it's everywhere.
Singress, now, and this was a long time ago, and there's been a lot of changes at Elsevier since that book came out. They were actually going to corporations and shopping it, saying, buy this instead of a program, which is probably not the best thing to do, but they do box sales to like big corporations. And it's never shown up on my statements at all. If I wasn't writing Johnny Long's coattails on Google hacking,
right,
my statements would be pretty skinny. But anyway, someone approached me about writing a book again the last few weeks, and I'm like, I'm in retirement. It's going to take me a lot to come out of retirement. And I'll tell you right now that I enjoy academic writing 10,000 times more than writing a book.
Really?
Well, it's concise. It's very concise. It's only, if you write 15 to 25 pages, that's a long article. But it has to be very concise. I think the Earl's book almost looks like an academic article because you're very, you go one subject to the other subject, but you cover everything that you need in that subject.
It's like 21 separate articles.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about books too, and I always had the experience where they want you to write like a chapter every 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and then
hell with that.
they didn't edit it very well. And I need editing, so but it was a good thing to do. But what's the name of your book again, Amanda?
The Defensive Security Handbook.
Uh-huh. And that's just the publisher.
I can't remember. I can't remember the subtitle. Defensive Security Handbook. Best practices for securing infrastructure.
And the publisher is
And through O'Reilly.
yeah, and the ISBN number is
they're amazing.
what's the ISBN number?
It's on Amazon.
You're supposed to memorize
It's on Amazon.
that. That's part you're not going to
that's
get.
what I should
You're not going to get into the author's secret meetings.
So there's a Malaysian porcupine is the cover animal, and I'm getting it tattooed on my back on Wednesday.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I should get the ISBN number tattooed underneath
You
it.
should.
I
That'd
might.
be awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
You know, only like librarians and scholars will even know what it is, but you know, it's one of those esoteric things. It's like the academic high sign.
I mean, we kind of live in esoterica, so
Yeah, very true. So we have had an episode.
That's going to be one of my.
Go ahead.
So that's going to be one of my categories for getting a date with me. You have to know what an ISBN number is.
Awesome. So anyone who's listening, Amanda's looking for a date.
Hell yeah.
memorize your
Preferably
ISBN.
not
Free
married.
Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Yeah, preferably not married, and also must have your own job in a house, because you need to go away every once
If
in a
you make more than me, it would be preferable, but you don't have to.
while. So I'd like to say that Comcast, after I told the technician that I used to be a network engineer and quit pulling the wool over my eyes, actually fixed my problem. You know what it was? It was a main line
DHCP?
problem. It was a main line problem. They had they had to take down the entire neighborhood to fix it. So
What?
Wow.
yeah, that was very popular.
Huh.
Yeah, so
Well, at least they figured it out.
a month later.
Quit messing with DocSys.
I wasn't. It was weird because it worked and then it didn't work. It didn't work, and it was just a matter of who knows what. I'm not even going to try to even delve into exactly the heck was going on with that.
Yeah, probably not.
It's hard for me to be mean to support people because I used to be one.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I probably opened 2 tickets for 30 days until they finally fixed it.
That's great. And you don't talk to any of your neighbors, right? So I'm sure you didn't like get any of those.
I don't
Well,
think
the Clampets don't really speak English, so.
Well, what it was is they came and changed all the ends, right? Went through the entire house, and they were like, let me check on your neighbors. And neighbors wasn't working. He's like, I think we've got a problem here. So that was just one side of the street. Apparently it didn't affect the other side of the street. And there's no one living next door on this side, and the neighbors on the other side didn't say anything. So I don't know. Our cable goes on and out. I've actually been looking at this other provider. They're apparently using microwaves or 4G. I can't figure out which. But they put this small, it looks like a microwave antenna on your house, but they don't cap, don't filter, and they say they have faster speeds that I can get. I'm supposed to be getting 200 down here. I get 30 on a good day. So I might take a look at that. I can't remember their name. I'll give them a shout out here if I can find it in my email. Who knows? Anyway, I might talk to them, and it's also less expensive than paying for a cable company that I don't trust. It doesn't give me a good service, so I just
right.
afraid of going from bad to worse.
Right.
Huntington was named America's best city.
What?
I saw that.
I thought you guys had like a gigantic drug problem.
We don't make, in the words of Mayor Steve Williams, make no small plans. We do not focus on our problems. We move forward. We're proactive about being a great
Needle
I'm
community.
just confused. I'm confused how you can be America's best city when you.
We are America's best
I don't
city.
know.
It's also just full of, finding needles in my front yard, but still.
Right. Right.
Eh,
And part of
It
I feel
that
like
is
those should
like,
be mutually exclusive.
Huntington's a nice place. Even though we do have a drug problem, it doesn't affect me or my family. But what is out there is pretty awful. There is a story out of Ohio. Did you see the story where the cop
Ohio
pulled
has a crap ton of heroin problems.
well, they pulled out, apparently this Ohio
oh yes.
cop pulled over these people and they told him it was cocaine, and so he tested it as fentanyl, and they had to give him the overdose drug like 4 times.
Yeah, he just like
What?
he like touched it and he just OD'd like instantaneously.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Like
it was awful.
carfentanil, like the really bad shit.
So apparently they're taking this heroin and cutting it with fentanyl, and that's what's killing people. There
Gray
was a
death.
BBC
Well then,
there was a BBC report recently about overdoses in Huntington, and they showed this guy who was going through an overdose.
was it
And
the BBC thing that you were on?
no, actually, I think it was the same people.
It
That was
Bill.
different.
Yeah.
That was me talking about my ass about Syria. I'm glad they
Oh,
didn't
that was
identify
Syria,
me.
right?
Well, you were drunk behind me going, I'm tired of this table.
I
Shut
was
up,
very
Adrian.
drunk behind you.
um,
I was giggling in the
but-
corner.
yeah. That I think they saw my jaunty scarf, and they're like, they're English. They're
That
like,
guy
hey,
knows
let's
what
go
he's
talk to that man with the jaunty scarf. But it's a bad English accent. Named my first album, as a matter of fact.
Hey, so
bad
speaking
English
of
accent.
England, is there a B-sides in London this year?
There is.
There
is
is.
B-Sides London, June 7th.
Nice.
In London, England. So
I so want to go.
www.bsides.org.uk. I'd love to go.
Ugh, that'd be
So
great.
it's in West Brompton. That's not too far from like Windsor
Heathrow.
and all that great
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah. So if you take Piccadilly out of Heathrow, you can switch at Barron's Court and be like right there. It's on the District Line.
I wonder if my university will pay for me to go to that.
Yeah, they should.
I'm gonna guess no.
They're actually threatening to shut down state government in West Virginia.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're a bunch of jackasses. Nobody wants to raise taxes. I'm like, raise my taxes. I've tweeted at legislators. I'm like, I would like to have nice things and stay in the state. Raise my taxes. I don't care.
Right.
What they want to
Right.
do is eliminate the state income tax and increase the sales tax, which is really regressive. We're gonna have to get rid of
I don't
these.
know. I think I'd love that.
Well, I mean, if you look at the model, the European model, they tax consumption.
Mhm.
They have all kinds of nice things.
Oh yeah, VAT.
But
Gotta love
Right.
value-added
VAT,
tax.
of course, but a hamburger is like $9. But
It is kind
Yeah.
of ridiculous.
And gas is super expensive.
yeah.
And
But
shipping stuff over there, my God.
really,
So like if we
Right.
buy stuff in the US and ship it to England, for example, it's like a 14% VAT just to mail stuff over there.
well, it's
Oh
all that
my.
free healthcare.
Free. Healthcare, not really dental care apparently, but yeah.
Dental care, no, not so much in England. That's stereotypical.
Yeah, they're all very Austin Powerish. I'm sorry, English friends.
Some of the upper class.
All
That's nice.
my English friends have nice teeth.
All my English friends had. I dated an English girl. She had nice teeth. And you think that accent's
Yeah.
cute for about 2 weeks, and then it's like, shut up and talk right. For the love
Oh
of
my
God,
that's
talk right.
hysterical.
Huh?
I do love accents.
She's never lost her accent. We're still friends. She still has it, and she's been here for freaking 15 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she calls the car hood the bonnet and the trunk the boot.
Oh, so she still even uses the
Oh yeah,
terms.
she's not giving it up. She ain't giving it
Oh,
up. She
that's surprising.
hasn't adjusted to our crazy culture.
The trunk and the hood.
She can't say trunk or hood. She just says petrol front court, things like that.
Crazy people.
You lot.
Did you see where there was the Preakness winner was a horse named Cloud Computing?
No.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in the show notes right
I want a
now.
horse.
Yeah, add that.
Cyber.
Yeah, add that.
Cloud Computing springs upset in the Preakness. This is from WSAZ, which is not one of our normal stories. But yeah, so apparently it upsetted the Kentucky Derby winners' chance at the Triple Crown. So I'm putting it in the show notes right now. And it's
Well, that's
thundering
interesting.
here. If I were my mom, I'd be going around unplugging everything. Cloud Computing springs upset in Preakness.
Preakness. Wow.
142nd Preakness, Plimlico. 13-1 long shot. Was one of the 5 fresh horses in the Preakness that didn't run a week ago in the Derby. So, but who the hell names a horse Cloud Computing? I'm waiting for a horse named Cyber something. Cyber APT.
That's what I want.
Cyber Cloud APT. You know what's
Yes.
worse is now, when you try to explain to people what you do or what you teach, you have to use the word cyber. They don't
Cyber.
understand. And it's just like saying, I don't know. It's like you're giving in when you say cyber.
You think?
Kills my soul just a little. Yeah.
I don't ever tell people what I do.
You're mysterious.
I am.
Mysterious. Woman of the
I have to
night.
keep them talking to me for some. No.
Well,
I don't need that rumor out there anymore.
anyway. There's some other conferences coming up. You want me to talk about them?
Sure.
Okay, Cybersecurity World, and I think let's see, that's in the Magnolia.
Magnolia.
That's different. And I'm the one that hasn't been drinking. June 28th through the 29th in Denver, Colorado. Besides Las Vegas is coming up, and I don't know when the dates are because I didn't put the links.
It is end of July, last week in July.
DEF CON 25 is July 27th through the 20th. That is not right.
Wait, how does that work?
Yes, it is. Oh, 27th through 30th.
Yeah. I think that in our last podcast, some of those nefarious people may have fucked with the show notes.
Never.
Surprise.
We actually are going to have some kids going out to Black Hat this year as volunteers.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I will never volunteer for Black Hat ever again.
Really? Why?
Worst volunteer experience I've ever had.
Well, that sucks. Did they work you to
Yeah.
death or what?
Just very unorganized. And I don't want to say names, but somebody's a gigantic dick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You have to tell him this story later on. It wasn't Jeff Morris, was it?
No.
Well.
Yeah, so volunteer for HackerCon one of these days. You want to see disorganized.
Yeah, God.
There's disorganized. I mean, I feel like if you're Black Hat, you shouldn't be disorganized, though.
As much
Yeah,
money as they
You
have,
should have your. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
you
not
should have got
had
you should.
any issues with them, but they probably treat the student volunteers differently. I don't know.
I was a speaker wrangler.
Ah,
Ooh, wow.
yeah, that's different.
Ooh.
That's probably way more stress.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make it out there. I still haven't been to DEF CON Black Hat.
Need to go. Good time.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think I could walk that much. Bad knees.
Get a scooter.
Bring
I'm
a
gonna have
rascal.
to.
Yep.
I
Khalil
can
got
just ru-
one last year, the year before. It was hysterical.
Oh, I was right on his scooter.
Yeah.
Did you see the
Yeah,
Khalil story?
Register his domain first. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So our buddy
Yes.
Khalil was apparently in a coffee shop. And you ever heard these loud, boisterous people talking about their startup? And basically, he registered their domain name that they were going to do before they could actually do anything with it. So it's pretty funny. And now he's getting all this
And he ended,
coverage.
dude, I know. Like, and I could have swore I had read this story like a while ago. Like
How do you
somebody else
spell
had done this at
Khalil?
one point, I thought, but maybe not.
Well,
Trying to find it.
I saw his tweet about it when it first came out, but it never really registered. I never
I
thought
thought someone else
about
had
it.
done it too. Not to take anything away from
No,
Khalil,
no.
Yeah.
but so he's been covered on the Poke, UK. Shoot.
Been everywhere. I told him next up is Good Morning America.
If he makes the register,
Yeah,
then he's really done
I
it.
think he made the register. I'm trying to
Oh
find.
wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he also made Mashable.
He's on Huffington Post.
HuffPo,
I don't know
yeah. He made a Telegram.uk.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about how ingenious it is. Who else has not ever done this? Seriously.
I mean, I've registered some very funny ones before. Like I own.
I've messed with people before, but I don't know that I've actually done this.
Yeah. So there's this SANS instructor that has infosecrockstar.com,
Who's that?
and it's extremely cringy. It's Ted Denimopoulos,
I don't know him.
I think his name is,
Never heard of
and
him.
it's a very cringy website.
That's as
Like
good
he talks
as
on there about
number one hacker.
how, yeah, he talks about how there's this whole article on how you need to act to attract women,
What?
and it's so cringy.
Maybe try being yourself.
And,
Wow.
yeah, right.
That's
No,
crazy.
and I mean the things that he talks about, I can kind of get with. Like, he talks about having confidence and that kind of stuff. But some of the stuff is like, if you try to pretend that you're the person he's telling you to be on there, it just is worse.
You're a douchebag.
And yes, oh yeah, and
contributors include Dr. Eric Cole.
God bless.
Yeah.
I mean,
Johannes
there's a lot of
Ulrich.
people. Okay, there's a lot of people at SANS that I know and respect, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I lost a little bit of respect for SANS when I saw that, and he wrote a book too.
And really,
about being a rock star in InfoSec. Yep. And
someone
Michael
linked
Riley
that.
refused to post it.
Well, someone posted a link to a book on Amazon called "How to Be a Rock Star." I wonder if it was that book. They self-published it or something.
It might have been. And then, so I registered infoseccockstar.club.
Nice.
And it points to, I think it's like backyardchickens.com. Like it's just an automatic redirect. And it was only $1. Like,
did you see where Will did to that scammer? Okay, he was in a car apparently, and this is on YouTube, and I think YouTube took down the video, and I'll tell the story because Will's not here to tell it, and it's hilarious. He called him first, and he was in the car, so he actually was able to find. He said that he didn't have internet, and he had to dial up. So he played the dial-up sounds, and then he kept this guy on the phone, and he finally got to the point where he was going to give him control of the computer, and I'm sure it was a VM. So he starts playing One Man, One Jar. So this
Yeah.
guy's connecting
That's
to it, and that's the
amazing.
first thing he sees. And then he closes it, and it's like all this crazy stuff, just shock image after shock image. And it's
Right.
pretty funny. It's in two pieces, but they took part of it down. But I mean, it's kind of funny how much trouble he goes to just to screw with these people.
That's amazing.
It's a lot of. I don't think I have that much patience for something like that. And as I've said before, it's hard for me to be mean to people on the phone. If
Yeah.
they're just trying to make a job, you know.
Right.
He doesn't come to where I work and knock the clicker out of my hand.
It's because you can't afford a trip to the United States.
Yeah, sad
They're
but
in some
true.
Nigerian cafe.
I'm not sure what the accent was with this one. Usually, there's a lot of Indian call scams.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do not know. Anyway. Okay, see now.
What else we got? Even the link to his Sans instructor thing in there. That's great. In the show notes.
What the heck? You said
I'm going to
Katie's
put a
on
link to
here?
his book too.
Katie Masoris is listed as a contributor.
I think he's just taking like they're not contributing on purpose, is what I'm
Okay.
gathering.
Contributed.
Like he's just taking
Contributed.
stuff.
Eric Cole. Who else do I know on here? Stephen Northcutt. Northcutt. Oh,
Micah Hoffman. Nice.
I don't see
I'm
Katie.
gonna read the whole thing on Amazon. Some people are simply more listened to, more prominent, make more of a difference, have more flexibility with work, more freedom, choices of the best products, and yes, make more money. They are not just lucky, they make their luck. The most successful are not necessarily the most technical, although technical or geek skills are essential. They're an absolute must, and we naturally build technical skills through experience. They're essential, but not for rockstar level success.
Wow.
It's called InfoSec Rockstar. How to accelerate your
I'm
career
putting this
because
in the show notes. Oh, my
That
listeners
sounds like
can
one of those
accelerate their
free
careers.
Amazon Unlimited books.
it is $16.30 on Amazon.
Jeez.
1630.
I don't know who this publisher is. Morgan James Publishing. It's not published till 2018 though.
That's interesting. Is there anyone else we can hate on while we're all here?
I'm sure he's a great guy.
I'm sure he's a great guy too. I just don't agree with him.
Correct.
So, Amanda, you've done social engineering. Do you really think you have to act to be a good social engineer?
I think the good ones don't act.
Yeah, I think you're
They just
right.
naturally carry themselves like that.
Yeah,
I'm not good at social engineering because I can't like walking into places I'm not supposed to be if I don't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But all of my emotions show on my face. Like it's very difficult for me to keep a straight face and not laugh or like look like I'm sincere. I have a very hard time with that. So I would have to act if I was going to do it.
I can do most anything as long as money's involved.
Can we get that audio clip?
If you know it's your job and that you're not doing anything that's going to hurt anybody, to me, that makes it easier to do. The problem is now that I work with such small clients that I'm going to actually have to use some of my students, I think, to do some of the stuff I need to do this summer.
Do it.
I don't know. But anyway. I
was trying to convince some people to do the SCCTF at DEF CON this year.
That'd be cool.
I did it 2 years ago, and I did not have fun.
I heard.
I had there's a part that you do in the beginning, which I had a lot of fun with. They give you your company and like a list of flags, and you have to use OSINT and find all the as many flags as you can, and you put together this big long report, and then you submit it to them. I really enjoyed that part. I did not enjoy the talking to people on the phone part. They put you in front of like 300 people in this glass box, and you have to call your targets and try and social engineer them on the phone live in front of all these people, and it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I don't think that would be fun. Too much pressure.
Some people really like it, yeah. And I went after the winner,
Yep.
which she like knocked it out of the park.
It's the year that Jen
And-
Fox won, wasn't it?
Yep.
She's been on the podcast. She's a nice lady.
Yep. Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound like fun? See, I almost beat the
Nope.
year before last. I did the whole lie detector thing,
Oh yeah.
and I screwed up the questions because I couldn't remember.
I did it, but I still don't understand like how I'm supposed
the
to
point
beat
is?
it, because
I think you're supposed to lie
even
in every
when-
question.
well,
Like
I
that-
told the truth during the answers, and I told the truth when they asked me when I was hooked up to it,
Mhm.
and it still showed that I was lying because I'm never sure that I'm telling the truth, if that makes any sense.
See,
So like, have you ever done this? And like in my mind, I'm like, no. Well, I don't think I have.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Not that I
Like
can
Chris
remember.
is like you missed you. There was like one or two questions that apparently I didn't answer correctly because they give you that sheet and you write down your answers, right? You can remember what I said.
Right.
Am I supposed to lie in this one, or am I not supposed to? The one that everyone laughed at was something like, "Would you like to have sex with Dave Kennedy?" And I said, "Yes, I'd like to have sex with Dave Kennedy." And of course, showed I wasn't lying, and then people just thought that. But that's another situation where there's really not anything at stake. It's different if you were like, doing it for clearance, or you're doing it as part of a police investigation. But the only thing at stake there is a challenge coin.
Right.
So I just didn't bother me. I've seen people do that thing and just sweating bullets.
Oh yeah.
Just sitting there and just losing their minds. And I'm like, there's no way you're going to beat this.
That was me.
You were sweating bullets?
I like towards the end I am, because some of the I don't know. It's hard to describe.
The funniest thing that ever happened to me as an undergraduate.
Like I tried to be calm.
Go ahead.
No, I just tried to be calm. It just didn't work.
The funniest thing that ever happened to me as an undergraduate, I was taking a criminal justice class, and this guy, he wasn't there for very long, but he is like, I want to show you what a polygraph's like. So he brought in an examiner, like the examiner from the Huntington Police Department. They hook him up to a polygraph, and then they ask him the questions: Are the lights on in this room? Yes. Is today Tuesday, March 4th, 1975? I'm not that old, but you know what I'm saying, right? So, they start down the line of questioning that they would typically ask the suspect. Have you ever or used marijuana? And the thing went crazy.
Really?
Really funny, yeah. It was really funny. You ever
That's
smoked
great.
marijuana? Yeah. When you're undergraduate, that's shocking.
Oh yeah, of course.
But we didn't have any more polygraph, labs after that for some reason.
Go figure.
So,
What else we got?
well, DerbyCon is coming up, and it's sold out.
It is. I have a ticket, but only kind of.
I don't have a ticket. I did submit a
CSP is still
paper.
open.
I did submit a paper,
Me too. I
and
submitted 2.
I think we're going to sponsor.
Oh, good.
My employer is. I'm not. So that we should maybe get a ticket out of that. Also, HackerCon 8,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Ocho, November 17th to the
I need to-
19th. South
I need
Charleston,
to
West
put that on my
Virginia.
calendar.
CFP opens on June 1st.
November. It's like the only con I have in November, which is nice. Oh, and I can actually go to it too.
Yeah, well, we put it in November because we got tired of fighting with all the different conferences in October. B-Sides DC was the big one that ended up on our old date, so we just moved it.
Yeah. I like conferences on weekends that I don't already have my kids. It makes it easier to decide if I'm going to go.
I understand what you're saying. When we get Alex Hammerstone to West Virginia, I've been trying to get him here. He had to back out of aid.
I know.
But yeah, it'd be cool. Seems like there's a conference every 2 minutes, and I know that we only scratched the surface in the show notes, but
Oh, yeah.
this is better than nothing. In fact,
Yeah,
it needs
there's a
to be
whole lot.
updated because I just had to like take 2 out.
Like I can put a couple on there. The ones that I'm going to in June are 614 Con, which is in Columbus, Ohio. It's like an underground, like nothing's recorded type thing that I'm gonna do a talk
cool.
on.
Talk about your criminal shit.
I can probably talk. Yeah. I'm talking about something that I didn't want recorded, so I'm glad I'm doing it there.
Who's
And
the
then-
organizer? 614 Con, is that a Mick Douglas joint?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And then B-Sides Cleveland is also in June, and so is Circle City Con.
BSAF Cleveland was the first conference I ever spoke at. And
Oh, really?
2012, I think.
Very
it was-
cool.
Spoke with Brandon Miller about building an information security awareness program.
Very nice. I need to get together my talk for that con.
I'm just trying to cut down the number of
O'Reilly
cons I get
Security
to.
Conference.
When is that?
I don't know. July, maybe.
It's sometime this year.
It's in Manhattan,
Cool.
and I submitted a talk for that. I submitted another one overseas in Stockholm, Sweden.
Ooh.
So I hope
Good
I can go to
Sweden.
that one. In Sweden, it's
Work, work, work.
Sekti. I know. I'm going to talk like that if I go over there. See how many people punch me in the face.
I was asked to speak at some conference in China, and I just deleted it. I'm like, no way. Well, I've had these before, and you actually, if you respond, they're like, yeah, it's only, you're going to have to pay your way here. We don't cover anything.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
no, I don't think so.
A lot of the ones in Europe will pay for you to go. Like
HackCon
Sekti,
in HackCon Norway is supposed to.
Yeah. They not only pay for your plane and your hotel, they also give you £1,000.
Is that heavy?
I think. I assume they pay you in like gold doubloons, right?
I need to speak to one of these English conferences where I speak the language, kinda. B-Sides Dublin, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Pick up a PhD while I'm over there. I think I thought about doing this not as to get a PhD, but actually apply for a grant to buy a PhD and see what the process really is. I wouldn't claim it, of course, just to try to out these people or try to figure out how they work. Because they promise if you spend X number of dollars that they'll send you a degree as well as a transcript. They will also send you a student ID card, a library card, a bound copy of your dissertation. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, like, how are they doing this?
Hmm.
But I probably can't find a grant to do that. But Gen Cyber is coming up. We just have to
What
pick the
is?
students. Gen Cyber, Marshall. It's an NSF, NSA summer camp for
Oh, okay.
underserved students in West Virginia, for the Appalachian region.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's
How
kind
many
of a
people usually
pain.
go?
Well, we can only hold 23 or 24, and I think we have about 44 applicants. This is the
Okay.
first year we've done it, and they're real specific about lesson plans too. Like they have all these learning objectives and things. Unfortunately, I think I'll be saying the word cyber a lot, but hey, it's for the kids. So we'll probably choose a lot of these kids that applied from like McDowell County, which is like the place in West Virginia you can't get there from here.
The free state of McDowell County.
The free state of McDowell. And we've got people who applied from Maryland, Ohio, Kentucky, etc. So fun. It's supposed to be for kids who don't get to go to regular summer camps, because we've got a big group of
Okay.
kids here locally that come to all of our STEM camps, right? This is a residential camp, so they'll actually live on Marshall's campus for a week, and
Oh, wow.
it'll be fun. Yeah. So you ought to remember this massive Google Doc phishing attack.
Yeah.
What was that?
I didn't get one.
I didn't get one either.
I think we may have gotten one, but maybe they deleted it before we saw it or something. I don't know.
So this is from May 3rd. Rick, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're breathing hard.
I am.
Yeah.
He's really okay.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I am drinking booze and listening to you.
Uh-huh. So anyway, so this Google Doc phishing basically was really prevalent to the point where people were freaking out about it. And what it would give you it would have you authenticate through the Google Drive app, and then give the attacker complete access to your Gmail and all of your other Google accounts. But there was a lot of freaking out about it. But that was before.
And anything that uses that for auth, right?
Yeah, anything that used it for auth. But that was before the story that won't die, which is MS 17010, which this
Right.
was the first version of that exploit that was published, and this was on Packet Storm, and this was probably 2 weeks before we had the adware breakout, which is called what? Shoot, what are they calling it?
WannaCry?
WannaCry. Yeah, this is before WannaCry.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I have to say about that one other than maybe you should patch. But there are people who scream at me and say that everyone can't patch. But
You have to turn off SMB.
well,
Yeah, right. Have you ever been in a Windows environment? You can't turn off SMB.
Well, you can turn off 1.0 and it won't break much.
Yeah. That's
Depending
a start.
on the environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, segregate your networks. Segment your networks, and don't share SMB 1.0 on the internet.
Oh, Jesus.
And I feel like people that say that they can't patch just are saying that because, I don't know, I feel like maybe they're too lazy to figure out which systems are not allowed to patch or can't patch, and they're too lazy to segment those off.
Segment them off and document them. and deal with them separately.
Yeah, but I think they're just like blanketly saying we can't patch because we have this problem on our network. Well, so you're not going to patch everything because it seems like that problem shouldn't be everywhere on your network.
No, that's very true. And I mean, I'm sure everyone has legacy systems or embedded systems, but what it boils down to is there's ways of mitigating that, but you shouldn't have a blanket policy of we just don't patch. So this thing was patched about 2 months before WannaCry happened, but yet, NHS in England got hit pretty hard where the hospitals were reported to actually be taken offline. So what if you're in the operating suite and none of your computers work? That'd be bad.
I've seen that happen before.
Really? Oh, I used to work in a
Surgeons
hospital
get
environment.
super pissed off.
Well, I think if I were the patient, I'd been super pissed off.
Well, usually they're asleep.
Well, true.
We had a brain surgeon walk out of a surgery and
What was he going to
go
do?
get
Quit?
CEO and the head of nursing and stomp into the network group's office screaming. Like scrubs on, everything. Like person was still in the surgery
With their
suite.
brain laying on the table, right?
I'm assuming with their brain open on the table.
So what's the problem?
Yeah. So there's a system that does like the x-rays and scans and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was
Not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
It wasn't our fault, but
Shit happens.
We were there to yell at.
Blame the vendor.
Yep.
Yeah, I told you all earlier before we started recording that I had a pleasant experience on Friday where they jammed a camera up my ass to see if I have cancer or not. Good news is
Right.
I am cancer free. But the worst part about
now
that
your
was,
butthole's a little
well, I was worried. I'm like, Blair, did they stretch out my butthole?
Did you make her look and measure it? Like
I
before
did.
and after?
I made her look in like recovery.
Did you?
Yeah, I was a little loopy.
Right.
Then she said she couldn't get me to put my clothes on. I just took the hospital gown off and stood there.
That's great.
And yeah,
That
I'm just
stuff is
worried
the
about
best.
what I was under.
Yeah.
So
Any chance you get to be the person that is in recovery with somebody on those drugs, you have to record it.
well, I don't know what they used on me. They put me completely asleep, and then I woke up, and it was like waking up from a nap, and my butt didn't hurt too bad. And
right.
The worst part was the prep.
The camera is really small.
It's not that big. The worst part was the prep. Drinking a big jug of stuff and
that makes you shit your brain.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can't eat anything solid. So I'm kind of hoping I lost some weight. But anyway, don't want to really do that. I don't understand people that do juice cleanses. I'm going to drink.
I've done a couple.
Oh.
I've done a couple. They're rough.
Yeah, they're rough.
You need to be near the bathroom.
Well, there used to be a juice bar in town, and I thought I was supposed to pick the juice by flavor. So what I picked was actually cleansing juice. So I take this juice back to my office. I'm sitting there in my nice law firm office, sipping my juice, and then realized that I'm going to poop myself. And I realized I probably shouldn't be getting that juice anymore. But I just go for the Orange Maid. So Windows 10 version 1507 will no longer receive security updates. What the hell is that about?
I don't know. It's still receiving them, right? Just not on Patch Tuesdays?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Version 1507, is it a specific dev thing or?
I don't know. Again, I mean, Windows 10 is the most up-to-date version of Windows, right?
Yeah, but what's version 1507?
No. Let me click the link. We'll find out.
I'm reading it.
Damn you, Microsoft. May 7th, after May 9th, 2017, Windows 10 devices running version 1507 will no longer receive security updates. So apparently you need to update the OS. Security updates will continue to be made for both Windows 10 Enterprise, 1015 LTSB, and Windows 10 IoT Enterprise devices.
Windows 10 1507 is the one that still is looking for Patch Tuesday updates, and not the few times a year feature update one. It
I'm
says
at
at
the
the bottom,
point.
why is Microsoft ending service?
I'm at the
Because
point
it's the old one.
where I'm just going to move to Linux and be done with it. If I could just play WoW on it.
I have a Windows box that has 10 on it that I only use when I have to, because I have a Mac from work and I love it.
Well, I like my Mac. I needed a Windows box, so I spent one up as a VPS. Windows
Yep.
VPS have gotten pretty cheap.
Yep.
So it does what I need it to do. If I need to run a piece of Windows software, which is what I needed it for, there we go. And then I just cancel when I'm done with it, and I pay the whatever the monthly is. Did Rick pass out?
I'm here.
I'll make sure you didn't do an Adrian.
Nope, not yet.
What are you eating?
Nothing.
Are you rattling ice?
Why?
No.
Okay.
Should I be?
What are you wearing?
The moving. What are you doing right now?
What are you
doing
thinking
tomorrow?
about?
Yeah. Hey, we're going to brunch tomorrow if you want to come.
At Bonhoff or where?
I think we're going to get a Prime.
Prime.
Prime on 4th.
Oh,
Amanda,
yeah.
you can come too if you want to. I don't know what time.
Sweet.
I think Kristen's coming down. Anyway, I just turned this into like a personal phone call.
It happens.
Anybody else that's listening wants to come to brunch?
Yeah, come to brunch at Prime on 4th. Amanda, we're going to have to go to. We're going to take Amanda. Have to take Amanda to Bonhoff. It's our new German
Yeah.
place. It's delicious. I think it's
Very,
better.
very tasty.
Next time I'm
I think it's better than the other place.
I thought so, but I've been back and I disagree.
It's different.
It's different. Yeah.
Fusion. It's not pure German.
Yeah.
It's fusion.
Right. Yeah, it's not pure Bavarian, Trachten and Dirndl and, here's your stuff. But
Yeah. And they have like 400 beers on tap. That's an exaggeration. They have a bunch of beers on tap. They hired every good bartender in the tri-state area. It's like bartender all-star team behind the bar there. It's a pretty amazing place. They have a beer garden and great food. So we'll have to go there at Aid. You come to Aid next year?
You always make me come to Aid, so probably.
Okay. We can sleep on our couch.
Yep.
We're getting Adrian a room.
Yep. Yearly pilgrimage to, well, I guess twice yearly now that I go to HackerCon.
No, that's true. You can stay here for HackerCon. Of course, we stayed in a hotel for HackerCon last year.
Yeah, I stayed in.
So I didn't have to drive back and forth.
Stay for the karaoke.
You know what? I don't remember I don't remember staying there for. That's weird. I remember karaoke.
I
Who
kind of
can
do.
forget it?
I remember Adrian getting sick. On Navy rum.
Where'd we go to? Where'd
Yeah,
we
one
go
drink
after
of it.
karaoke?
You all went out in South Charleston, which I'm sure was a fun time.
I'm trying to remember where.
Well, there's only like 3 bars in South Charleston, so I think you're good to go.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's when me and what's his name? Jeremy that works with Dave Lauer.
Yeah.
We went and walked downtown to two
Oh.
bars. It was and we went and stood on the Indian burial ground.
No. That's very nice.
Yep.
So now you're cursed.
There's a park on it. There's a park on it. Who builds a park on Indian burial ground?
People in West Virginia.
I guess.
So
I actually got legitimate shit for posting a picture of us on there.
legitimate. Why?
Because people said I was going to be cursed. Like, you are insane.
I was just kidding.
I know.
I'm
People
part Native
actually
American.
thought
I don't
It
care.
was a bad idea.
I'm part Native American. I give you permission.
Thanks.
No, come to our casino.
I'm sure I am somewhere down the line. I don't know. I'm probably not. I'm like all German.
I think that I'm going to do the 23andMe DNA test
Do it.
because we don't know anything about my dad's side of the family. And since Blair and I have the same last name, we're probably cousins.
Probably.
We always said that Blair's Gardners are Lithuanian Jews and mine are rednecks from Nicholas County. What if my Gardners are Lithuanian Jews? Kind of kinky. But anyway,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
have you all ever done 23andMe or one of these DNA things? Or are you just too much of a
I've
privacy
not.
nut?
Nope.
I really just don't care enough.
Blair's mom did it. Kind of interesting. Like she found out she was partially descended from the Neanderthal.
Oh.
So I don't know. To check that out. It's an exciting podcast.
It is.
So WordPress 4.6
And people
remote.
still listen to this. Remember.
Well, I'm doing this because they bitch so much that I've decided to put one out, and I think I'm going to do another one on Wednesday with Mark.
Who are these people?
Dave Lauer.
Are they all your students?
Dave
Oh, it's
Lauer, and
Dave's the best.
he is good. He's pretty cool.
Why isn't he on here sometimes?
I need to get him on here. I do. He used to do
Yeah.
security justice back in the day. Remember security justice? Are you ready for some security justice? And I always have Dave
Nope.
Kennedy on. There's like a special. Oh, and by the way, Dave Kennedy's here. This is when Dave was
What?
just coming up
And
in
he
the.
still had time.
That's when he was just first coming up in the community. This is like 2006, 2007, 2005. So it was a long time ago. It was. I think they were one of the first. There was Paul Security Weekly, which was called something else that I can't repeat because there's a lawsuit. It started in 2005 or 2006, and then Security Justice was around. There was a couple other podcasts, but there's not as many as there are now. I do this podcast for fun. If 3 people listen to it, I'm happy. The thing that really shocked me was the contact I got from B-Sides London. They're like, "Hey, we're in London. Would you put our B-Sides on your podcast?" I'm like, "Cool. I've got
Yeah.
international listeners, at least 3."
Right.
So I'm popular in England.
Did I ask you, do you get stats for downloads and stuff?
Yeah, actually I do. And they've gone down. They peaked
Aw.
when we started doing the whole crazy chaotic podcast with all the people. They started to drop, and that's the reason I moved away from that. So
I feel like it probably dropped when you drunk dialed me.
we never published that podcast. I don't even know whatever happened to that podcast. That was me and Rick, and I think we called Adrian.
You and Adrian, and there were several people on it. Benny was on there.
I need to get Benny back on here too. But Rick and I talked
I'm
about
surprised
this.
Rick's on. He's never on when I'm on.
Well, I knew where he was, so I just pinged him because I knew he was home. I knew he'd been at the Bluegrass Kitchen, and I saw he was posting He said his phone just crapped out. Let's see if we can get him. But I knew that he was around, so I just grabbed him. See if we can get him back on here. But I'm glad to talk to you all. And catch up.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked to anybody. And I don't go to conferences.
You don't go anywhere, Bill.
Too busy. Too busy. Too broke. Broken busy. And now the scary thing is if they shut down state government, is I won't get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Gonna have to stand out on the corner.
Well, I mean, I've saved some money, but it's just I'd like to use that money to pay bills instead of sitting on it.
Right.
I want to pay off my credit cards, and I'm about halfway there.
Oh man.
Because I got lucky. I got some gigs, so.
I see. I don't necessarily want to be in a relationship that much. I just want somebody to live with me so they can pay half the bills.
Good luck with that. It's never worked out with me like that.
I just want that. Like maybe I just need a roommate. I just need a roommate.
You should get a roommate with benefits.
Because then I can get a dog. Yeah, that's what I want. A roommate with benefits, and then I can get a dog because then like when I travel, they can stay at home and watch the dog.
Yeah, that's true. See, we want a dog, but I really, I don't want to board a dog, and I'm afraid that the cats would eat it, so that'd be bad. But I like to have a dog for home defense. All I've got now is a bunch of guns. Yeah, I inherited a revolver from my aunt, and I really like revolvers. I've never had one.
Really?
Yeah, it's what is it? It's an older brick book here. You could tell us it's a 32 Smith and Wesson long, and it's made by H&R, which is a brand that went out of business in the 70s. But it's like a snake gun. But it's just really cool. I just think that wheel guns, it's easier to see if they're loaded or not. And I don't know. I just like it a lot better. Than my other guns. I'm thinking I was going to get a muzzle loader. No, I really know when it's loaded or not.
Yeah.
Just got to tamp it down.
You won't forget loading it.
Bite off that ball. In the Revolutionary War, if you did not have your front teeth, you could not serve because you couldn't bite the ball.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they would discharge you if you lost your front teeth. So WordPress 4.
Just have the person next to you do it.
Yeah, here. By the way, can you bite this for me? So I got married the last time. WordPress 4.6 remote code execution in the wild. Does people still use WordPress?
Lots of people use WordPress.
Why?
I don't know.
I have another question for you. Do people use WordPress and not update it?
Yes. So like there's several scripts out there that will automatically on a schedule update all your WordPress shit for you.
Dave wrote one. There's a good one that Trusted Sec put out.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're gonna use WordPress and you're not using that, you're just asking to be exploited anyways. So
exactly. Update.
And adding a shit ton of like really weird add-ons.
Well, that's usually what happens. I've had clients in the past where they had like a custom WordPress installation they couldn't update because it broke everything. And I'm like, break everything.
Right.
You might as well break everything now because someone's going to pwn it.
Yep.
And then it will be faced with pornography or something worse. So probably might want to go ahead and update. Did you see this story about the not so secret DoD spy footage on the internet?
I didn't. All I did was read the headline. I didn't see.
Well, apparently, DoD was accidentally broadcasting live feed from a predator.
Sweet.
Yeah. So.
Those are always fun to watch.
So I'm not sure how this happened, but there are screenshots, and they say it actually happened. They ask. Apparently, this was a vendor put this up on the website. Maybe to show an example of what drones footage is supposed to look like. I don't know. So contributed Kenneth Lip, which sounds very familiar. Kenneth Lip. Kenneth Lip contributed Daily Beast. I was doing random searches on Shodan, and he discovered what to be appeared a web console for a full motion video feed from 2 Predator drones.
That would have been an amazing find on Shodan.
Yeah, it is amazing. Of course, every time I don't even look at Shodan anymore because it just scares me. Go out
I
there.
go on there every now and then when I'm bored.
I always like to go look for IRC for like for industrial control devices, which is probably also got me on a list somewhere.
No,
but,
because they don't have any of that monitoring.
But just go look at 445 SMB version 1.0 expose the internet.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I don't guess Rick's coming back.
Yeah. Okay.
NIST is no longer recommending 2-factor authentication SMS. You said this was an older story?
So I heard about it in the middle of writing the 2-factor auth chapter for my book, which had to have been like last June, maybe May or June.
Yeah.
It came out that they recommended not using SMB anymore, which everybody's like, no shit. Like, we've been telling you not to do that anymore anyways. And NIST finally, like, officially said, stop using SMS. And everybody still does. It took most people long enough to freaking implement 2-factor auth.
I'm trying to figure out when this was published. What they'll do is they'll send out these publications for comment, and I wonder if the comment period was when you saw it. But
I can tell you when I saw it too, because I'm
sitting here looking at it, and I can't even tell when it was published or if it's still in the comment period. Because if you go there, it gives you today's date. Saturday, May 20th, which is actually now yesterday. And you look for a date. This is the draft. It's special publication 800-63B, and I believe this is the draft, and it still hasn't been published.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, it's a NIST thing, so I'm sure that it'll take 3 or 4 years for it to actually get out and
be official.
It's crazy. I don't do any work with NIST, but I know people who do, and it just sounds like a lot of arguing about what the word "it" is.
Yeah. Let's see here. I should just always leave my book open because
you should. I actually took it and set it down over here it's in my bookcase at the moment. I keep forgetting I have like drafts of my books, and I'll find them every once in a while and go, "Oh, that's where that is."
Right. Okay. So I didn't say. I just said during the writing of this book, NIST released a special publication declaring that if the out-of-band verification is to be made using SMS message on a public mobile telephone network, the verifier shall verify the pre-registered telephone number being used is actually associated with the mobile network and not with the VoIP, or because you can spoof phone numbers, blah, blah, blah.
Sure can.
So, I mean, out-of-band using SMS is appreciated.
Would you agree that 2-factor authentication is better than 1-factor authentication, even if it's shitty 2-factor authentication?
Oh, for sure. Just know if it's super sensitive information, you should be not doing it.
Right.
And then, like, if you're a high profile too, you know?
Yeah. So it's okay for like
Because
Your WoW
who?
account.
Right. Yeah. Like who recently got popped because they were using two-factor auth over phone, and their phone number got compromised first. Gosh, who was that? It was some high-profile one. I cannot remember. I don't know. I'll try and think of it, but yeah, they like compromised the dude's voicemail and then his phone number, and were able to bypass his two-factor auth.
Well, I've heard pen tester war stories about how it's not just two-factor auth. There's this one where it basically sends a text to your phone when someone tries to log in as you, and you just press the button to authorize it. And people are so trained to just click OK or
They just hit
authorize
it.
it because they're like, oh, well, I probably logged into something or it logged out, and I need this, so I'm just going to go ahead and push this button. And you know, the problem really is with authorization is we went from passwords. We know passwords suck. The two-factor authentication.
Fucking cat. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. He just bit me.
That's not good. And we even looked at biometrics. So what the hell are we going to do about authorization? Are we going to have some sort of DNA factor authorization? Are we all have to put retina scanners on everything we own?
I mean, the push notifications seem to work fine.
I'm sorry. Am I boring you to death?
Sorry.
Am I boring you? I'm just kidding you.
No, I shouldn't be tired. I took a nap today.
Well, I was going to say, probably should let you go here after a while. We've been on here for a while. I don't want it to turn into an Iron Geek podcast that goes on for 6 hours.
Yeah, true. I was trying to find. Was it Cloudflare? Maybe.
Ah, yeah, you're right. I remember that now. He was one of those Google O-Day initiative.
Yep, that's what it was. Yep,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Cloudflare CEO.
And they had to actually go through. I remember Mark Rogers was saying he was working 24/7, 365 to get that fixed. Oh, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, AT&T was compromised through social engineering, and they bypassed the security, the pin on his
Beautiful.
voicemail, and then yeah.
So AT&T's on strike, and no one seems to be covering it. AT&T Mobility
Oh really?
went on strike Friday.
Oh.
And yeah, I guess it's going to be a problem. There's a call center here locally, and the call center is actually picketing the AT&T store.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if that actually makes a difference since it's just a store. And
well, I think what it is that, and this is local in West Virginia, they're on a 3-day strike in 36 states and DC. They're striking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This also includes things AT&T Mobility, AT&T West, AT&T East, Connecticut, DirecTV, California, and Nevada. So, I mean, if you're a subscriber to one of these, of course, if you need to call someone, good luck.
well, that's interesting. I'm glad I don't have AT&T.
Well, I do, but I don't need to call them very much. Thank God. Put this in the show notes so people can see this. But I thought it was really interesting that it wasn't really being covered.
Yeah.
They were too busy worrying about things like did Ivanka Trump wear a headscarf to Saudi Arabia, which I think is
What?
yeah. I turned on CNN today, and I'm kind of interested in everything that's happening. I lived through Watergate, So it's kind of interesting to watch what's going on
Do you
now.
think this is worse?
Uh,
No.
yeah, in many ways. Mainly because this is worse because the news cycle is so fast.
Yeah.
And as a result, the process can't keep up with the news cycle. And, there are people still defending our current president, which is fine. But I remember people defending Richard Nixon, too. The truth will come out. It's going to be a matter of how long it's going to take for it to come out. And I just wrote an academic paper on Russian hacking. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see
And
what.
attribution.
Do what?
And attribution.
Well, I didn't go into attribution. I just went into what the intelligence community came up with and talked about. I was trying to draw a clear line, a bright line between Russian hacking, APT-28, malware that was used in Ukraine against Ukrainian artillerymen, and the alt-right, and using trolling and hacking and to try to swing the election. And it's been documented that apparently there was Russian money that was paid to alt-right people to do the trolling. But yeah, so unfortunately, this was written for a governmental agency, and I can't show it to anybody, but it's there for them. But anyway,
Right.
it'll probably show up in some form in the near future somewhere.
Awesome.
I did a talk at AID. You don't remember
I
my
don't
Russian
watch
hacking talk? I thought you were in the room.
Yeah, I do. I was in the room.
But that's basically what it is.
Okay.
That's basically what it was.
I'm so disappointed that you took my picture out of your talk.
What?
I'm disappointed you took my picture out of your talk.
Oh, what did you put in my talk anyway? I forgot you trolled my slides.
It's pictures of unicorns or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, that's a serious, we're a serious fucking, conference. We don't have time for that. I'm kidding you. It can't be worse than the time that Dave Kennedy basically had a slide deck full of stupid pictures of me, which he used
That's
for his
great.
deck for HackerCon one year, and that has mysteriously disappeared and never been published. It was pretty funny. He just trolled the hell out of me.
I'm gonna do that for my talk too.
But anyway, it was funny. I appreciate the trolls from Dave and Alex. I appreciate trolls from everyone. It's just that I don't like when people can't tell when other people are trolling. They get mad.
Right.
So I've kind of stepped away from.
Yeah, I have. I don't know. I only troll a little bit because I know how I can. I don't want to ever be taken the wrong way too much.
Yeah.
Enough people on my timeline think I'm crazy, so.
Really, you've heard my story about how I was trolling and someone took me seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It really hurt my feelings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to stay out of it.
That's a good idea.
I use social media to interact with my colleagues at work to some extent, and
your students.
And my students, and I love my hacker friends, but sometimes I'm not sure everyone knows when to stop.
Oh, that's definitely true.
So it's just the way it is. So Hack Miami was this weekend. B-Sides KC, B-Sides NOLA. That's where Dave and Mrs. Dave are.
Just NOLA. I don't think there are B-sides.
NOLACon. You're right, NOLACon.
Yeah,
It's
NOLACon.
Looks like
I mean,
Dual Core
CarolinaCon.
Music is there. CarolinaCon is this weekend. I'd like to have Dual Core come back. It's hard to get him anymore since he doesn't have to just drive down.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
He was at HackerCon, HackerCon 3, I think. It was a big con. It was a good time.
It was a very good con.
There's a lot of people I like to come back to HackerCon. There's a lot of people. We used to do these late night Skype calls, and I can't find anybody anymore. Everyone got married. They got married, or they got real jobs, and so nobody wants to hang out on Skype at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just to let you know, I'll never get married. I'll always be available.
Okay, well, I'll give you a call, and if I ever need to do a podcast, I'll hit you up. That's
Yeah,
basically
unless
what
I'm
I did
doing another
tonight.
podcast.
How many podcasts do you do now?
Just the one.
You
And
do
then
breaking
yours.
and security, right?
Yeah, breaking down.
Breaking down security. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good podcast.
That's it.
We've actually
I want
did.
to go be interviewed on other podcasts just to hit my book out.
Paul Security Weekly, have they contacted you?
Nope.
You mean talk to somebody?
Well, I feel like, I don't know. Am I supposed to go out and ask them if I should
Well,
be on to talk about it, or should they come talk to me? Like, hey, we want you on.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know Larry pretty well. I don't know Paul that well.
Yeah, me too. No, I know Larry and Jack. So
Yeah. I think my co-author got us on actually on the
Yeah.
podcast because she knew them.
Right.
When they asked her, that Valerie Thomas, somehow she got us on the podcast, and I was a
I
nervous
want to
wreck
be on.
because that was like one of the things on my bucket list, and I
To
was
be on there.
the Beyond Paul Security Weekly. Yeah, it was like the first
Mhm.
security podcast I've ever listened to. I used to listen to it constantly. I don't get to see it as much as I used to, but to me, it's the granddaddy of all good security podcasts. And so to get on it was like being on the Tonight Show for a comedian back when Johnny Carson was host.
Right.
So, it was like I
Yeah.
finally made it, So that was
I
a
want to be
nervous
on
wreck.
Risky Business.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they have a really big fan base. Like, I think that would be great.
And they've got at least 7 listeners. We've got 6.
Right. I mean, it's close.
Have
But
they been
people have
doing
already
them
heard me talk
regularly?
about it on here.
What's that?
Yeah,
What's that?
the book. People have already heard me talk about it on here.
On here and what? On what? On this on this podcast?
On this podcast, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you should be selling at least 24 of them every semester moving forward.
Right.
Just have to produce the content. I think I'll just add it in some of the existing things I already have. The problem is I could require like 10 books, but I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
So would you ever write?
Tell all your friends.
What?
I said tell all your friends, all your teacher,
my teacher friends. And the professor. When I go to the faculty dining room, I'll make sure I let them know.
Yes.
They need to
Have you
buy
guys
this
seen
book.
this book?
They teach something different than me. I'm like the only person that teaches this in the entire campus. But so serious question.
Sure.
You've written one book. Would you do it again?
Probably, because I'm a glutton for punishment.
So what do you think the next book would be?
I don't know. See, I had the idea for this one for a while because I saw there was a need for it.
Big need.
I think I would have to know. Yeah, I think I would have to know that there's a need for something else to write another book for it because I don't want it to be like just like a niche thing that nobody's. Yes.
Right. You don't want to write the next Cyber War book.
Right.
There's literally thousands of Cyber War titles. And there's only about 5 of them that are worth anything, in my opinion. The Richard Clark book is excellent.
I want it to be a book that people could use and actually be worth something.
Other than just a book that has your name on it.
Yeah, and not not have it be, because technology changes so fast. I don't want it to be, not valid in a year or two.
Unfortunately, I think any book anyone's going to write in this field is going to be valid in a couple years. It's just the nature of the beast.
I think ours is going to
Especially
hold up
that.
for quite some time.
Well, that's because it's a book
Defensive
about
security is so.
it's a book about best practices. It's not about specific technologies.
Right.
But even like a book on
So,
Metasploit,
I don't know.
the book that Dave wrote on Metasploit, it's been 5 years ago, was completely useless.
Yeah.
Because Metasploit has changed so much. It's not useless, but it's not as useful, I should say.
Right.
So
There's just a lot more to Metasploit now than there was when he wrote it.
Well,
so.
the commands changed.
Yeah.
The command changed in the time that they published it to the time it came out. Like in the beginning, there was an issue with how you started Metasploit, and now it's even weirder. It's almost like they want you to use that icon in Kali. It's just weird. And then, if you're like me, use Kali Linux plus the penetration testing framework. I also use Discover, which is Lee Baird, my good friend Lee Baird, which will add a lot of these really cool OSINT tools and just in an updating capacity as well. Check it out on GitHub. Lee Baird Discover is what it's called. But I use Discover on some computers anyway, so I don't know. It's like I know there's many different ways of scanning the cat, and sometimes I feel like I'm running in 3 or 4 different ways, and I'm still not skinning the cat correctly or the best. So, but penetration testing framework was big for rolling out tools that you needed on VPSs.
Yeah.
Because you could just do it and update everything, and there it was. So it's huge. And I remember
you can't
Dave.
Even write, you can't write a book on PTF either, because that's changing all the time.
Right. It is. I remember Dave talking about it years ago, and it took him a couple, 2, 3 years to actually get it out, but it's very useful. But you're right. It always changes.
Yep.
Or Discover always changes. Discover basically uses a bunch of bash scripting and to install and keep things up to date.
Yeah.
So I understand that there's a new book coming out from Offensive Security called basically a book on how to use Kali Linux. It doesn't have to do anything with the tools in Kali Linux. It's just how to use Kali Linux. And they're teaching a class at Black Hat this year. It's going to be Mutz and Johnny Long. It's already sold out, of course. But it sounds like an interesting book. If we can actually get it out and maybe get it in our hands, we will use it in our classes.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But it's all good. So you have anything else?
No, I don't think so. That's it for me.
Don't sound so excited. I didn't do the regular introduction. People won't even know what podcast this is. I should do it now and then sign off.
We kind of just
hello and welcome to another episode of Reboot It. Tonight we're joined by
Amanda Berlin.
Amanda Berlin Rick Hayes, who left. He actually had phone problems. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you very much. I'll try to get this out. So we'll have an episode out, and we plan to record another episode on Wednesday, hopefully. But anyway, good night, everybody.